This season dedicated to the memory of Joseph and Bernard Ganc, brother and grandfather, forever with us on the hunt. Have you ever dreamt of doing something that would call for you to step outside your comfort zone? Do you have the courage inside to accept that challenge? As an outdoorsman, every time we embark on a new adventure, our character, our will, our determination, and our drive are challenged. Follow as we attempt to define ourselves as hunters, outdoorsmen, and friends on this epic adventure. The harvest, that's the bonus. If it were always that easy, there would be no challenge, there would be no drive, there would be no will to get up and do it again. You are wild about hunting. Are you? This segment brought to you by De Jesus Family Chiropractic, improving lives with chiropractic. All right, this is what we've been waiting for. The Ohio trip is here. It's time to head out and get on the road to Ohio. The whole concept of this show has been 3 words: inspire, persist, and achieve. And we've hoped that throughout the first few episodes and all the training and preparation, everything that we've done, we've inspired you to try and do this on your own as well, and figure out stepping outside that comfort zone and understanding that you can accomplish something if you just put a little bit of time and effort into it and a little bit of sacrifice. And that's what we've had to do over the last several months in preparing for this day to travel to Ohio and spend 9 to 10 days there pursuing a white-tailed deer, trying to put a deer down on land that we've never seen before, in a state we've never stepped foot in or hunted in before. We're leaving on a Thursday, October 29th. That was the plan. Part of the problem I ran into, or part of the challenge prior to leaving, is that Monday before, we got a phone call, and my wife's stepfather died. And that was a complete shock to all of us. We hadn't heard from him in a while, and I got a call, actually tracked down through my service as an ambulance and firefighting. Our local fire chief contacted me and said that the coroner from a county where he lived was trying to get in touch with me because of my wife's stepfather. Probably the hardest thing that I had to do that night was tell my wife, while she was teaching our son some homework, that she needed to step away because I needed to talk to her, that her stepfather had died, and that we had to go down to the house right away. Well, that just put a whole wrench into the whole works, because now the focus was completely off the Ohio trip, and it was on family. And family is always first. That's something you'll learn with us here at Wild Bout Hunting. Family always comes first. On top of that, the day before, we had been busy all day long, Tuesday and Wednesday. My wife and I were very stressed. We were really tired. Our son comes home from school that day, and he had a look on him. And you know your children, you know your kids, you know when something's not right. And he walked in that door, and we were already tired, and we said, "What was wrong?" And he made a comment to us, "Didn't you get a phone call?" And we looked at him, no, and the immediate response was both of us looked at our phones. There were no missed calls from the school, nothing. Here my son had gotten punched 3 times in the face by another child in his class. And his face was hurting him, his teeth were hurting him. And now, not only do we have the anxiety and the stress of knowing that we just lost a loved one, but our son had just gotten into an altercation at his school, and now we needed to make an appointment to get his teeth checked because he was complaining of some pain. And I'm set to leave the next morning in less than 12 hours to leave my family for 10 days. So you can just imagine the anxiety and the stress. And the last thing that I wanted to do was go on a deer hunt. as much as I love to hunt, the last thing I had on my mind was going on a deer hunt. But my wife, being the supportive wife that she is, she knew that this was something that I had to do, that I've been preparing for, and she told me, she said, we'll be fine. My brother-in-law was flying in from California. He was going to be with them for the week that I was away. So I knew everything was taken care of. I had my family back home that also was going to help them out. So we're all set. It's time to go. Pack up the truck that night and be ready to leave early in the morning.
Okay, well, I got the truck just about packed. I just gotta fill it up with gas. Oh, I'm so tired. I apologize for the lighting, but as you can see, it's still dark out here.
Alright, well, finally on the road after a 20-minute delay at the gas station because pumps weren't working right and wouldn't accept my credit card because it kept saying my billing zip code was not correct. So then I had to go inside, and they have like 2 people working at the gas station. And of course, it's that busy time. I wouldn't be on the interstate at 7. It's 24 after, so it is what it is. On our way to Chillicothe, Ohio, getting ready to hunt big Ohio bucks in Ross County. Stick with us.
DeJesus Family Chiropractic offers exceptional dental care for all individuals, from the youngest newborn to the most fragile senior citizen. Chiropractic is for the benefit of all individuals for health, wellness, and the enjoyment of life, with less pain, more mobility, and adding vitality to your years. Choose chiropractic as part of a healthy lifestyle. DeJesus Family Chiropractic, improving lives, chiropractic.
Serious hunters demand superior performance within their gear. Success in the field hinges on your ability to adapt to his environment. The tools employed for these adaptations define you. Out here, our reputation is what defines us. Muddy Outdoors. Serious gear for serious hunters.
Bison is American, like backyard tailgates and touchdowns. Heading out on opening weekend and bagging that giant 12-point. Taking a weekend to get off the grid. No cell phone, no emails, just the great outdoors. That's the Bison spirit. If you're looking for gear that works as hard as you do, Bison coolers are made to last in the United States of America. BisonCoolers.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Foxworthy here to tell you about an exciting new product called the Buck Cage. The Buck Cage provides a quick and easy no-mess solution for scent dispersal. Simply add half an ounce of your preferred scent and insert the dispenser. Within minutes, the polymer beads go to work absorbing the scent and are ready to dispense it for weeks at your favorite hunting location. The Buck Cage is Redneck approved and ready to help you cage your next buck. Get your Buck Cage and refill packs at buckcage.com.
This segment brought to you by Deer Track Design. From custom decals to state-of-the-art printing, no order's too small. If you can dream it, we can print it. All right, well, the trip out to Ohio was pretty uneventful. It was long. It was by myself. Made a couple of stops for gas along the way, more coffee, but nonetheless, it was a pretty nice day. Weather was great to travel out, and I arrived at the hotel at the Best Western Adena Inn and met my cameraman there. We walked in, we got ourselves all checked in, got our gear into the room, and then it was off to the woods. Well, it is 4:30. We're on our way to Tar Hollow State Forest to do a little recon scouting real quick here this evening and get some tree stands hung for a morning sit and see how it goes. We also have a camera that we want to put out. So Andrew and I are gonna head out, have a map. Before we left, about a week or so, 2 weeks ago, my brother and I sat down on the computers and the maps that they sent us from the the conservation office here in Ohio, and we kind of got an area that we feel might be a good opportunity surrounded by some agriculture, and the wildlife conservation officer advised a hunt about a quarter mile in off of the agriculture, so we're gonna give that a shot and see what happens. We're here for 9-10 days of hunting, something like that. We're heading home November the 8th, so we got plenty of time to figure these deer out and put one on the ground. So just happen to be headed to the woods and not just trying to drive to a hotel. Okay, well, took a little driving around, but we finally think we found where we want to be. So we are gonna not waste a lot of time. We've got a big ridge to hike through and get up in and do a little bit of scouting and hopefully find some sign in an area that we can hang some tree stands. So my cameraman Andrew and I, we drove out to Tar Hollow State Forest. We had all the maps that my brother David and I had marked up and put our areas on that we had decided that we needed to focus on. We drove around the entire state forest, got familiar with the layout and what it looked like. Had to do a little bit of adjusting in what we initially thought of, but we were in the same general area that David and I had suggested we focus our efforts on first. So we walked out this ridge line, we found the parking spot, and we got out, had a pretty good hill that we had to climb up with all the gear, and just started walking out. We got to this one point on the ridge where we had a hollow down below us, and it was a little bit of a flat, and we found an old wooden tree stand. Now, where I'm from, when you find an old wooden tree stand, it's there for a reason. That means some old timer or some guy that's been hunting there for a long time put it there for a reason. Now, we didn't see a lot of sign, but it was an area where there was a good funnel. It was close to what David and I had looked at on the maps, and we found a good tree. We could see pretty far. We felt this was where we needed to start and at least get ourselves set up for a sit for the morning and see what happens from there. So we got back to the hotel room, and we're hungry, tired, needed to get something to eat. So we open up our BISON cooler, and I've had ice in this cooler since the day before. And one of the things that BISON coolers takes pride in is they hold ice for 5 days. Well, let me tell you, they held the ice. I couldn't get to the food. We had to actually, at one point, I think I used one of the chairs that we brought with us for in the ground blind to try and chisel out the ice so I can get to the food that we had down into the BISON cooler. Nonetheless, we did retrieve our dinner for the evening out of the BISON cooler. We were going to have ourselves some garlic and herb chicken that I had vacuum sealed earlier in the fall, getting ready for the trip to Ohio. And one of the things we were doing is doing it yourself. So we made our makeshift kitchen in the bathroom. Yes, you heard it. In the bathroom with a little George Foreman grill and some microwavable rice, and we were set. So it's what you got to do when you're out there trying to work yourself on a budget and do it yourself. All right, so it's Friday morning, day one, our first sit in Ohio. We get in the truck, we had all our gear packed, drive out to Tar Hollow to the same parking spot, and we walk back up, get up into our tree stand, pretty quiet, didn't spook any deer going in, so that was either good or bad, and got ourselves settled up, secured in the stands, and waited for daylight. We probably sat that morning till about 10:30. We never saw a deer, never heard or seen anybody else, squirrel here and there, but that was about it. So we decided, climb down, we're gonna leave that set where it's at, and we were gonna go out and do some scouting midday and try and see if we can come up with a better spot for maybe an afternoon.
DeJesus Family Chiropractic offers exceptional dental care for all individuals, from the youngest newborn to the most fragile senior citizen. Chiropractic is for the benefit of all individuals for health, wellness, and the enjoyment of life, with less pain, more mobility, and adding vitality to your years. Choose chiropractic as part of a healthy lifestyle. DeJesus Family Chiropractic, improving lives chiropractic.
It's here, the most innovative field dressing kit ever, developed by RAPTOR Razor. Its huge ergonomically designed hook on the Mako cuts quick with precision. The big game skinner cuts through the toughest of places, saves you time in the field. Each kit comes with multiple blades, completely interchangeable. It's like no other knife made. For the full line of accessories, go to our website, www.raptorrazor.com. That's www.raptorrazor.com.
I block the wind, the cold. I block the rain, noise, and smells. I block the voice in your head that says, go home. Scent blocker.
I am Jeff Foxworthy here to tell you about an exciting new product called the Buck Cage. The Buck Cage provides a quick and easy no-mess solution for scent dispersal. Simply add half an ounce of your preferred scent and insert the dispenser. Within minutes, the polymer beads go to work absorbing the scent and are ready to dispense it for weeks at your favorite hunting location. The Buck Cage is redneck approved and ready to help you cage your next buck. Get your Buck Cage and refill packs at buckcage.com.
This segment brought to you by Nightstar Munitions, family owned and operated, located at 318 Yorktown Drive, Hazleton, Pennsylvania. All right, so it's the morning of day 2. We got up, we got really bright and early, got to the parking spot that we wanted to get to. We had probably about a 200-yard walk, maybe a little bit more, to get where we wanted to be. Had to cross this small little creek, which wasn't that bad, and get this ground blind set up, and plenty of time to keep everything calm and sit tight. We had brought breakfast and everything with us so we could sit and eat in the dark. Well, we were pretty optimistic because we had just seen about 5 or 6 deer running through this little ravine, and it kind of funneled them in there, so they had to come through here because it was just thick on both sides of where we were sitting. So we knew these deer traveled through quite often, heading to the food source that we had seen. Good morning, everybody, and happy Halloween. We are set up in our trick or treat muddy ground blind this morning, and it's a little bit cooler than yesterday, which is as you can hear. It is the weekend. And we were all excited about coming in here this morning. We scouted this area out yesterday. We actually bounced some deer, found some sign, got in here bright and early, and set the ground blind up. And we've been sitting since it was dark, just relaxing. And as it broke daylight, we have a gentleman that's up to our right here, apparently hunting small game. Sounds like he's got a 22 hunting squirrels. So, par for the course so far. Public land hunting, it's the weekend. People are going to be out enjoying themselves. We can't do anything about it other than just sit back and see what happens. Our plan was to sit here until 9:30, 10 o'clock, and head over to another management area that we mapped out yesterday on the computer in the evening. We may be heading there earlier than planned if this gentleman doesn't get his slinging squirrels soon. So we'll see what happens, but it's a beautiful morning to be in the woods. That's all we can ask. Maybe a deer will come by and say hello. We sat till probably about 11 o'clock and decided that was enough. We needed to pull out of there. We weren't seeing deer in Tar Hollow, and we needed to go find another location. So we had a second plan in mind, and that was Ross Lake Wildlife Management Area. So our plan was to head over to Ross Lake. There looked like some more agricultural right on the state land that might be more promising than where we were at right now. All right, so we got to Ross Lake, and it wasn't a big area, but there was lots of agriculture. There was standing corn just across the road from where the state land was. There was a big field, looked like it must have been soybean that had been cut, and there was winter wheat growing in it. We got out, we decided that was an area that we needed to look. We're used to hunting a lot of agriculture from back home. Let's go with what we're comfortable with. We started to walk along the edge of this field on the state land, and there was deer sign everywhere. A lot of rubs, a lot of scrapes, a lot of deer tracks coming from the thick cover just off the backside of the winter wheat, heading to the corn and back and forth. Okay, well, we got the ground blind all set up. We're just getting ourselves situated, trying to figure out where we're all sitting here. Well, we sat in the ground blind the whole entire time. We saw a bunch of squirrels, but no deer came out. There was the combine picking the corn on the other side, so we were hoping maybe that would spook some deer over to us, but it might have hindered us. So we ended the day 2, no deer still while we were sitting on stand, hoping day 3 was going to be a little bit more productive. Time to go back to the hotel and get some dinner. We got out to Ross Lake, walked into our ground blind. We had set a trail camera up the night before. We stopped quick and checked that. No pictures on the camera, so already put a little bit of a question mark above us for sitting that morning, but we've already committed to it, and that's where we were going to go. We sat in that blind all morning till about 10 o'clock. Not a single deer movement, just a couple of squirrels. From there, we had a second option that if we didn't see deer there, we were going to check out this other wildlife management area called Pleasant Valley, and that's where we were going to scout and pull the blind. All right, well, we're got 3 days under our belt in Ohio, and we still haven't put a deer down, but we're getting close. So let's go back home to Pennsylvania, where my brother and team member Dave Ganc is getting ready to go out on a rifle hunt back in PA, and I'm behind the camera to film this one. This segment brought to you by Paul's Auto Center, providing emergency roadside assistance and towing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, serving the Hazleton area for over 30 years.
All right, everyone, we're going out for our afternoon hunt. I didn't do too good this morning. Saw one small 5-pointer. We chose to let him go. So we're gonna go out this evening, see maybe we can get a shot at a buck. If not, we will take a doe, try to get some meat in the freezer first. So we're gonna take a slow walk back here. Up on us on the way in, as we talked before. So we're hoping we circle out and around and come out in our bucks and beard food plot. We'll have a pretty good shot if they come back in here. So I got a good feeling about tonight. I think we're gonna get a shot at something. So hopefully these deer appear. We can put some meat in the freezer tonight. We're watching the bucks and beard food plot. I just happened to look off to my right and saw one doe coming out of another plot of woods. We watched it for a little bit, saw another one coming out behind it, so we opted not to take the first one. As that one was coming out, Dennis had noticed that there was another one in the woods, so we waited for a while for that one to come out. They all got out into the field, but I couldn't get a shot. There was so many trees in my way. He had them on film, but nothing was coming together at that time. All right, so right now we've got 3 deer out in the field. They are feeding toward us, and we know that we're going to get an opportunity to get a shot at one of these deer. So we're going to let them keep feeding in, and we're going to see what happens after this. Dennis and I are talking back and forth, trying to make sure he's on the deer that I'm trying to shoot. And it was back and forth for, I'm gonna say, probably a good 5 minutes till we got everything to come together on these shots. I had a hard time. I had no no rest for the gun. Everything was off freehand. We finally got the big doe out in front of us. Dennis had it on film. I had it in the scope. I took the shot, and she dropped right in her tracks. It was pretty intense. It was only a doe, but it was a good feeling. We got everything on film. First thing I did is I called my daughter, got her on the phone. She was thrilled. It was a good feeling. Like I said, it was only a doe, but meant a lot to us. Everything came together. It was exciting. It was very exciting.
Wild Bow Hunting is also proud to partner with these fine sponsors.